This is Distraction Therapy, a podcast to explain how we get through the day. Keep calm and carry on.
Hello, it's Friday the 1st of May and this is a Distraction Therapy podcast with me, Rob Watson, and today I'm talking to Jay Sykes up in... Where are you at the moment, Jay?
I'm in my house in Sunderland.
And what's it like up there at the moment?
Well, let me look out the window. It's a little overcast at the moment, but it was such a lovely sunny day today. I was even out in the park earlier. It was nice.
What we've had hailstones. We've had
really?
Really cold. This evening. It's really chilly. I put a heater on.
Why is the weather so varied around the country?
I looked at the forecast earlier. I haven't looked at any TV for a long time, and I was online looking at the newspapers and stuff like that, and I thought I'll look at the BBC weather forecast, and I looked at the video one that they put out on the telly and everything. And I felt like it was describing my life. It was like this perpetual twilight, movement from twilight to daylight, because they have that thing where they go into the darkness and then they go into the daytime, they go into the nighttime. And I'm sitting there going, oh, that's like my life. What day is it? It's like a perpetual nothingness. Which day is it?
The amount of people that I've spoken to who do not know, like, what day it is. Like, they forget and they say, you know what, sometimes I just don't even remember. Is it Friday? Is it Monday?
I have to double
days
check.
don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah. So the point of this podcast is to kind of just ask how we're getting through this process, I suppose. So I kind of titled it kind of, what are we being distracted by, really, and how do we differentiate the days? Do we differentiate the days? So in terms of your daily, are you still working? Because you are, but is that at home? Is that in a workplace?
It is at home, yes. I'm working from home, and then some of my jobs are continuing, and then some of them have been postponed.
And have you been able to maintain a routine?
No.
What's happened? Come on, tell us all about it.
Well, I never really quite had a routine so much, because my jobs some of them are ongoing and regular, but then the rest of the time it's about fitting projects around.
Getting out of bed in the morning and kind of I've got into the habit now of not getting showered till about 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, good for you. I haven't had a shower today. We don't need to. Who cares what time you get showered? No one's going to smell you.
You see, I won't give that up. I think I've got to have a shower once a day.
Have you?
Yeah, it's just like if I lose that, then the next minute I won't be brushing my teeth, and you'll find me. You'll walk into my house one day and there'll be a big pile of old newspapers with cat food and loads of cats sitting around, and I'll be just buried underneath a load of debris, that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, that's the best way to survive the apocalypse, isn't it? Just surrounded by cats.
Yeah, so
that's me, to be honest. 2 cats here.
So what's it like? So go on,
They keep me sane, Rob. No, it's fine. What were you saying?
How do your cats keep you sane?
They're just fluffy little things who sometimes want to be around you.
What are they called?
Oh, Darcy and Midna. Darcy is 5 years old and she's a British short hair, black and white. And then Midna is 3 and she's grey and white.
You see, now, somebody said to me the other day that they were getting a cat for their son. And they were getting a ragdoll cat.
Oh, is that one with long hair?
I didn't know cats had names like this. I thought cats were just cats. I know dogs are bred like to have names. No, I've never heard of a British short hair cat. What's that? Maybe an Egyptian cat I've heard of, or a Siamese cat I've heard of.
Have you heard of Russian Blue? That was always my favourite.
Oh, yeah, maybe, yeah.
And you know there's cat breeds.
Not round here, there isn't. They're all just moggies.
Well, that's like the same as, what do you call it when you get a dog that's mongrel?
Yeah.
It's the same as that.
Is it? All right, okay. Maybe
Yeah.
I missed the Observer Book of Cats then when I was growing up to identify what all these different. So how are your cats helping you get through the day? Do they help? Because cats don't
Yes.
don't really offer that much help, do they?
Oh, I tell you what, my cat, one of them is so snuggly. If you sit on if you sit on the sofa opposite the television, she will come and join you and sit in your legs. She very much likes human contact. And then the other one, you sort of got to coax the human contact out of her. Like, hello, I love you today. Please be around me. And then sometimes, like today, we had a proper snuggle session. She was lying down on the bed, like, and then like you tap her bum repeatedly with that, like when you do your fingers really quickly, like you're typing, like, and she loves that. And then her bum goes up, like, so she stretches her bum so it's in like as high as it can go. Like, I'm enjoying this. Keep doing it to me. Keep going. So I've had contact with other things.
And it sounds like you spent a long time with your cat in close quarters with your cats for a few weeks.
Which for me, Rob, is heaven.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Do they?
But you've not been in heaven. Contrastingly, I had no idea until we spoke earlier that you had coronavirus.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of been a bit poorly with it. It's just the annoyance is that it drags on. I'm excuse me, I keep coughing, but I'll edit these bits out with the coughing. Maybe not that one, but future ones. It kind of comes and goes, and I'm trying to find somewhere where there's something sensible where people are actually talking about some kind of. But you don't see anything. My Instagram feed it seems to be devoid of people talking about. It used to be full, Instagram and Twitter, of people talking about themselves, how they felt, what they were up to, what they snuggling with their cats. Maybe I'm not looking at the right places, but at the moment there just doesn't seem to be very much of people going, actually, today I feel a bit shit.
Right.
I'm carrying this cough and all that kind of stuff, because I think there's a kind of, I don't know, is there an anxiety out there of saying that you've got the lurgy?
Right, yeah.
No, it's just, I think it, kind of my experience so far is just that it's kind of annoying, really tiring. Keeping an eye on it so that it doesn't turn into anything. If there was any suggestion that it was going to turn any worse, then I'd call the doctors. But it's just it seems to be dragging on, and as the weather changes, it's got a bit colder today, and I kind of just felt a little bit more achy and painy today. So, but nothing, nothing dramatic. I'm still busy, still doing stuff.
Yeah, I bet the last thing you wanted to do when we had this phone call is to talk about how you're feeling.
Well, no, it's like, who else is going to listen to me? You could sit and talk to the cats, the neighbours' cats. No, it's
neighbours with cats.
Yeah, we've got lots of cats in the neighbourhood.
Steal one. Say, hey, neighbour, let me have your cat for a few hours.
Well, I think they're a bit fussy, to be honest with you. You kind of, unless you bribe them with some delicious, fresh fish or something like that, then they tend to, they get plenty of things in the other neighbours. They probably get well fed round here.
I'd say whoever's got either, like, you've seen the memes, if you've got a garden, or if you've got a boyfriend, or if you've got a balcony, or if you've got an animal, like, that's like how to measure your level of quarantine success.
Yeah. Have you? Did you get a delivery from Tesco's or Asda? It's like, yes,
Yeah,
we've climbed a mountain today.
My partner is like on it all the time. He's like, there's a slot. Ah! And then by the time he gets there, it's gone. They're like ghosts. They appear
it's like
and
trying
they
to get
vanish.
Glastonbury tickets. In fact, it's easier to get Glastonbury tickets now.
But I don't want to live life like waiting for tickets to go.
So what's the? Have you both been in close quarters, or is it?
Well, yeah, the same house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's but I mean, it's like the job wise, there's no space outside of that. Not that I want to pry and reveal anything private that you don't want to reveal, but is there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, is there? It's like, do you have to? Does he have to go off and do other work or anything like that, or are you both working from home? And
yeah, we're both working from home. So he is based in the living room, and he has the table, and he's got his 2-screen computer set up there, which he's nicked from work. And he does lots of phone calls throughout the day. So sometimes, because he does interviews with people applying for visas and helps them with their defense and helps the university with visa applications and so forth. So he spends a lot of his time talking. So for me, sometimes my job involves recording, and I've got to just negotiate with him what times of day we can do certain things. But other than that, it's not been anywhere near as much of a hassle as I thought it would be. Because I've always been the kind of person who just needs like a space to go and work, like a cafe or something, to get away. But I haven't felt anywhere near as bad as I expected in that regard.
Yeah, it's the first thing I want to do is go and sit in a cafe somewhere, or even just go. Maybe I should just go sit outside one of my favourite cafes and just sit there for a day. But just to not be looking at the same walls, it does have a kind of effect on you, doesn't it? So,
So
what's the kind of thing that you will want to do after first? Have you thought about, what's in your escape plan?
not as much as would. Yeah, I guess I'd like to, just as before, go back to Portugal, go back to the Netherlands, but I'm not really feeling a huge desire to get out anymore. Like I feel happy enough in this situation.
Do you think it's taught us? I'm trying to remember back to when I was a kid. So we're going back a fair time now, 40 years.
14 years, yes, 14 years.
Yeah, believe it or not. So you're kind of looking at the mid-1970s. And Sundays, there's that Morrissey song, every day is like Sunday, everything is cold and grey, and it's kind of like I haven't been out very much. You see occasionally people in the street and things like that, quite a quiet road. But everything's, all the shops are always closed. And people do, and then you ask yourself the question, what did people do? Well, they did nothing, and they just passed the time. Whereas now we live in a world where you have to fill your time constantly with things. And it's kind of almost like learning to let go of that, and go and have that long sleep in the afternoon, or just go and sit in the yard and listen to the birds singing, or just have a conversation together. Is there anything you've changed? I mean, are you a media? Are you needing to be occupied with Netflix movies and stuff all the time, or radio, or music?
Well, you've touched on so many things already, and I'd love to try and cram an answer in from a few things that we've started talking about.
We've got time to come back to them and explore them, don't worry.
Oh, good. You asked me about whether my routines changed and so forth. I'm loving the flexibility of time. I'm loving, sometimes I need to be up to teach, but the rest of it, I'll just get up when my body gets me up, and I'm appreciating that. And there'll be days when I just work the entire day, and then like never before, I would have never wanted to do this before. There'll be days where I will just spend most of it, as you said, watching programs on Netflix or playing Animal Crossing on my Nintendo Switch. And I'm embracing that, and I'm loving the flexibility that it's like a whole different way of living. And I'm probably one of the few people that you'll meet who's actively enjoying being isolated and not going out and not talking to people as much and not needing to get into that extroverted head.
You've discovered your inner introvert.
Yes, and I love it, I mean, I thought the novelty was going to wear off, but it's been a month and a half now, and I am still happy being at home most of the time.
Do you know what I really enjoy? Waking up in the morning, and then later on, just before you go into bed, kind of you getting undressed to get into bed, and listening to the silence, and you just hear it around. There's nothing. There's the rumble of traffic. I'm in a city. There's a slight hubbub of traffic in the background, very slight, but there's nobody out in the streets. There's no, kind of people getting in and out of cars, which is always a constant thing. It's just silence, and you can hear, when you wake up in the morning, you can hear the birds, and it's like, oh God, and it feels like it takes a whole layer off of pressure.
That's really lovely. I do think we are appreciating it more. These things that we've taken for granted, as well as these new things that we're discovering. I think there are a lot of. I hope that this continues in the after, quote unquote. I hope that afterwards we learn from some of the ideas of looking after our well-being and not needing to always be at work 9 to 5. That there's flexibility in where we can work from, and that line between home life and work life is becoming more porous. And there's things that I worry about, that like it's going to invade our lives more so in the future perhaps, but also that could be a good thing for us to learn from.
What would you think?
As a society?
Yeah. Do you think... excuse me. Do you think that... when it kind of, I mean, we'll have to come up with a word, won't we? What do we
I'm going to
describe
call it the after.
The after. It sounds a bit like
Feels
the
like a
afterlife.
film. Oh no!
No, it's like, what is it? Is this after the what's that thing that the evangelicals call, the reckoning or something like that? After.
Oh God,
after
the reckoning's
apocalypse.
even worse.
Yeah,
the great beyond.
Yeah, but once we're through this process. And we are starting to kind of get back to, the offices are opening and things like that. Do you think there'll be pressure, like, attendism? It's always a big problem. People going into the office and just staring at computers for the sake of it and not really doing anything. How do you think you and your colleagues and your friends will square up to that? Is it going to be plumber neck? What were we like before this, or is it going to be, oh, let's get back to it because actually it gave us some meaning?
I don't know. I think at the university, for instance, I was having a Zoom meeting today and people were saying, God, we're so tired of these constant meetings. I think there's meeting fatigue. And now that people are realizing that more on this online space, like these conversations don't need to be as labored out, perhaps. Maybe in that regard.
So the conversations, what do you think that is? That's interesting. That's piqued my interest in terms of the conversations going in different ways and being managed in different processes. Do you think that's... Because the kind of online meetings I've done have been so much better because I haven't had to leave the house. And I've got other people's attention, whereas when I feel when I sit in a meeting with other people physically, I don't have their attention, and I kind of the feel, whether it's true or not, is the feeling that I get ignored, or you have to push your personality through to get to that. Whereas on these kind of Skype and Zoom meetings and stuff, there's a lot more turn taken, and you're forced to listen because you can't talk over one another, that kind of thing.
That is nice. Maybe it is helping us take turns and let people talk and actually listen to them. I also think it's because let's say you've got it on gallery view, unless it just shows one person, but if you've got the gallery open, you can see the screen of everybody all watching at the same time, and you're always facing everybody that you're talking to.
Has that been good for you, or has that been challenging?
Oh, no, I think it's good. I mean, I'm a performative type, so... I'm the kind of person who'll sit there and always be attentive and like nod and smile and laugh at appropriate moments with mute on, of course. Yeah, I'm a good audience. Like, I'm the kind of person that you'd want to hire at like front row so that I would laugh when no one else laughs.
Rent yourself out as a Zoom, for Zoom meetings. Other people Zoom.
That's me.
Yeah.
So I can sit there and go like this in the background.
So you look like you're having a purposeful and productive meeting. It's like that. It's like that. You get all this clip art and stock photos, don't you, where people are sitting around in trendy studio workspaces, being designers and programmers, and they all look like they've come out of a Gap advert.
Yeah. They are getting us to live our best lives by aspiring to them. Their impossibilities. That's me. You can't see what I look like, so just imagine that I'm an Adonis.
Well,
I'm not.
You have your virtues, as have I. I forgot
Yes,
where
you do.
I forgot where mine are. That's the yeah. I had to have I had a home haircut yesterday.
Oh, nice. Did you do it yourself?
No, my other half did it. And,
Oh.
and just he was trimming around the bottom and the edges. He didn't want to cut. I wanted it like cropped, like number 3 all over, but he didn't want to do that. So he kind of dallied around the back and the sides and things like that and trimmed.
Hang on a minute. It's your hair. Why is he making decisions about your hair?
I don't make those decisions anymore.
Oh, okay.
I get 3 meals a day brought to me. I'm eating better than I've ever brought. His domain is the kitchen. So I can't even wash the dishes anymore. He doesn't let me. So we said, do me hair. And then kind of just as he was finishing off, I had, what have you done? He goes, I just went a bit too high on that bit. He said, but you won't notice when you push the hair aside. So there's a patch that makes it look like I had an operation if you look carefully. So have you done a home haircut?
I literally an hour ago I cut my partner's hair. So I did. He's got this really long fringe and this really big foreheads that he tries to cover up with the fringe. So he put that up into a bunch and then put a peg around it. And then I shaved the sides to a 3 and the back to a 3 and then tried to feather in a 2, but didn't do very... It was okay, but I'm not a hairdresser.
Did you get the bowl out? No. How do you do your hair?
My mum did that once when I was a kid. Oh my God.
Everybody's mum should do that. You don't get your qualification certificate to be a mum if you don't do that.
That makes sense.
You want to see school? You want to see photos of me at school? I had a massive head of hair.
Oh, go on then. Can you share it with us?
No, I'll
put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll have to try and dig it out.
Can that be the episode logo, the thing that shows up by the side of it?
Yeah, me at 10 years old with a huge, big 1970s kipper tie and a massive head of hair. It's
beautiful. And then you now buy it, and the question, what went wrong?
Yeah,
what happened?
How did I end up here? I live in that I told you I live in that kind of perpetual twilight 24/7 at the moment. What day is it? It's like being in a care home.
Oh, Rob.
Well, what do you do? I mean, this is the thing. So, what have you been watching? What have you been searching through on? What's caught your eye on Instagram or on Twitter and things like that? You're looking at pictures of naked men and masturbating. Is that basically what you do?
Sometimes.
It's a family show.
Oh, is it? Are you cutting that bit out?
My mum listens to it, so we don't want the gory details.
Hello, Rob's mum. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really wanked very much in the past month, to be honest.
But have you
maybe
looked
oh God, there's an ambulance going down the road.
What have you looked at?
Rob, there's an ambulance going down my street with its flashing lights. Oh no. Huh.
Do you want to go out and kind of do it all breaking news?
God, could you imagine if that was your job as a journalist? Oh, it must be so hard for journalists. Wow, can't get to the breaking stories anymore.
No, they just make it up. No, they don't. They don't make it up.
I know you've got a lot of journalist friends, Rob.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get in trouble, but... So go on. What you're looking at pictures of naked men on Instagram? Is that on Twitter? Is that okay?
I mean, you scroll through and then
what's the thing?
Cub, Insta.
Okay.
Gay. Was it that scruff? Gay scruff.
Is this date naps or Instagram?
Well, I go on Grindr. I've been on Grindr twice in lockdown.
Yeah,
it's been all right. Okay. I want to just return to the haircut for a second because I'm proud of this, right? I'm so proud of this. I went into the idea of I'm not going to shave anything whilst in lockdown. So my neck looks disgusting. My beard is the longest it's been in ages. And my hair, which I used to shave every week, is beginning to grow back. Not nicely, of course. It's very thin on the top. But... I've got hair again, Rob.
Because you take pride on being kind of trim and well appointed.
I am 27 years old and I embraced my baldness a year ago when I was like, you know what? it doesn't look good anymore trying to pull off a fringe. I can't be bothered with it.
But
I'll just shave it off.
But you can kind of emulate a quiff. That's what mine's in the thing of. It's like it's like a jetty sticking out on
a jetty. Oh god.
with lots of hair on it. That's what mine's like now. So
nice. I've got a bit of a jetty, and then the very beginnings of the monk patch growing. Like the bald.
Oh yeah, the back.
Yeah. So
keep it short. So.
If it's short, you don't notice it, but even after a week, it's like because it's also lighter in that section.
You've got no plans to do the comb over.
Oh no, I'm all right.
It still grows at the sides, but you're just losing it on the top, so you need to comb it over. So I might explore that look one day. It's like
beautiful.
Yeah, it comes to us all. So come on, what have you been? What have you watching on Netflix?
Oh, okay.
Or
so
iPlayer or YouTube or whatever.
On Netflix, Andrew has recently sat me down finally to watch Star Trek Discovery with him, and I think like 4 nights ago we were up until literally 4 a.m. watching. Oh God, I love it. It's really, really good. And I'm not a Star Trek person, but seasons 1 and 2. I'm near the end of season 2 now. We're going to watch some more tonight after this. I'm really enjoying it. And I showed him because I watched this. What was it called? That really crap reality dating show on Netflix.
Do you know they passed me by? Sorry.
Love is Blind.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that is good. It's so cringy and brilliantly edited and just a complete mess of a program.
What's
and
it
the
about?
Contestants on it. Oh, it's a social experiment in which they brought together 15 men and 15 women, all heterosexual, or so we think, to sit in boxes and they never see each other. They call the boxes pods, and they have dates, but they never see the person that they're dating, and they have to decide whether they'd like to propose to any of them. And those that do decide to propose each other after a series of dates and never seeing each other, then need to get married at the end of the series. So we see them meet, and then we see the way that they integrate their lives with each other, and then do they go through with the wedding in the end? Whoa! And it's so addictive.
You have to explain to me why that's addictive, because I mean I can go with the Star Trek thing, but other people's lives just kind of passes me by. What's addictive about it?
I mean, I've never really been into reality TV so much. Like, I mean, The Apprentice and Great British Bake Off were the two things that I'd watch. But I think I could get into these if I really needed to and had a lot of time to kill. I could so get into watching people, because when you're watching a drama, unless you get really engrossed in it, you know that people are acting. But if you're watching real people, there's a sense of they are caught in a limbo of being themselves authentically and performing. And so when watching it, you're so hyper aware that people are putting on performances of themselves and trying to always be the best version. And that in itself is really compelling to watch.
I suppose I suppose the distance that we've got now from that is that, on our daily lives, people are out there doing that or feel that they need to do that. Whereas being confined to the home, for a lot of people, not for everybody, but being confined to the home, there's nobody to compete with other than yourself. What do people do? What do you think these kind of reality TV people do when the cameras are off and they're left alone in a room, and there's nobody to impress with their looks or their charm or their, kind of their charming wit or whatever it is?
I guess you got to be somewhat narcissistic to go on something like this. So they probably... God, this is so judgy. Probably are just looking for the next opportunity to capitalize on that, I guess. Like one of the couples now has spoilers, I suppose. One of the couples now is a YouTube couple who do they found a new fan base that way, and are continuing to utilize their platform and seek attention. Which that's good. You need people like that because that's how entertainment exists, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd rather
sorry.
watch your cats. No. So I'd rather sit and observe your cats than sit and watch reality TV. What's the thing I've watched? I can't focus. It's like I enjoyed watching the one. Have you seen the program that was on the BBC about Bob Fosse and what's her name, Verdant, his wife?
I have no idea.
Oh, it's got Sam Rockwell in it. That's pretty good. It's about the guy
Shall
who
I
did
Google it?
Yeah, the guy who did Chicago.
Oh,
The choreographer. Yeah, you'd like that. He was like, it's all well documented. He was like, he had 2 heart attacks, and he was like a famous choreographer in Hollywood and Broadway, and was it's really good. I enjoyed it. It was like the only thing that I've been able to focus on. That and I got Disney Plus. I got The Mandalorian, which is on the go, and I'm slowly starting to watch like Star Wars, Rebels, and the Clone Wars. Only because I've wanted to watch them for a long time, but they just takes a little bit of readjusting to get into effectively kids' TV cartoons, which is my brain doesn't work. When all the Studio Ghibli films were posted onto Netflix, I had the intention of sitting down and watching them all. I've got through 2 or 3 of them, and then it's
which ones?
A Thingy.
Thingy. Oh, I like Thingy. It's my favorite.
My Neighbor Totoro.
I've still not seen that one.
Oh, it's a good one.
Oh, okay.
But I've seen things like Howl's Moving Castle and Kiki's
Didn't
Delivery
like
Service.
that one. Oh my god, Kiki.
Spirited Away.
The best thing about that, I've rewatched Kiki's Delivery Service recently, and to me, I didn't get this the first time I saw this because I was like, 12, 13? But it's about burnout as an adult. And it's like she gets so... she loses energy from what she's doing, and that's the cause of the stress in the film. And I think there's a lot to learn, especially now during lockdown. There's so much to take away from that idea of burnout. And here's like a whole bunch of society right now who have been given the opportunity to step away from regular life burning out, I guess.
Yeah.
And then others who have had to take up the mantle and put themselves right at like maybe some of the most stressful experiences of their lives as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a holiday, is it? I get frustrated.
Let's go to
Tesco. I get frustrated with all this. You can read in the newspapers, I've got this pile of books to get through, and and I'm doing home aerobics, and it's like, and I'm baking, and it's like I've done none of that,
But good for you. You shouldn't feel like you have to do something just because you've got the opportunity to do it.
No, I mean, I've got work to do. I'm not sitting around doing nothing. I'm keeping myself busier now than I think I ever have done.
Yeah, good.
Just in one place. I just need to go and get out. I do get out for walks and things like that. It's not as if I'm just sitting in the house clawing at the window, looking at passers-by. But
you said you've been finding it harder to focus and concentrate.
Yeah, so reading books. I think it's. I found a really good track. Let me find it on SoundCloud from. It was a mix, which was from what's her name? Let's find it. It's here, Anna Wall, and it was played out on Rinse FM. It's on their SoundCloud, and it's like an ambient special, like 2 hours long but there wasn't anything particularly rhythmic or melodic about it. It was a kind of collection of soundscapes, that kind of music and soundscapes that merged into each other for 2 hours. And I found I put my headphones on, just read for 2 hours listening to that. It's like you kind of need, that thing of running water in the background, just bubbling away. Because if you I'm quite happy to sit in peace and quiet, but if I try and listen to something like the radio or put the TV on or something like that, I just know this is information overload for me. It's like it's coming at me from all directions, and it's best to shut it off.
Yeah. For me, there's something that I've started listening to recently that is like a study aid, and also I put it on in the background of Zoom conversations as well to help it just feel nicer. There's like playlists on YouTube of hip hop jazz.
Oh, right.
Which I find so nice to listen to. And it's like that idea of environmental sounds or brown noise, just a background thing that doesn't really have too much emphasis on it. To cut through that infobesity that you're talking about.
I like that phrase. That's a good one. It's the kind of you constantly needing stimulation, and it's actually you don't. You're more than capable of sitting quietly for a couple of hours, but you just have to. I think you're driven by your anxieties sometimes, and I know I can be. It's like you kind of feeling as if you should be doing something.
That was me. And I think, given this opportunity, quite weirdly, I've understood a bit more than before that I don't always need to be doing something. I don't always need to be working.
Did you, when it first kind of came through and there were changes at work, and did you? I think there was a kind of hero. The groundswell was that everybody ought to be doing something, and we've got to readjust and change everything, and we need to support everybody. And it's like, well, there was a massive feeling of an outpouring of stuff. We're looking for volunteers, and now it's like it seems to have, they've got more volunteers than they know what to do with, and it's like, we've got all the systems are in place now. Are you left out? Are we left out? There's a feeling that because nobody's come asking, well, can you do this for us? It's like you kind of have to invent your own stuff to get on with.
Oh, I've not felt that, but I've like you, I've been working and I've been busy. In fact, one of the major things that I was doing, and I'm so pleased that I had enough time to focus on it. On the 3rd of April, I put in an idea for a 10-part podcast series with BBC Sounds, and it was based on a novel that I wrote but never released as a 16-year-old. So a project that has always been really close to my heart and what I want to do, and these characters that have lived in my head for like over a decade now. And they liked it enough to go, yeah, sure, you're a new writer, but we'll give you a chance. So can you please submit scripts for the first 2 episodes to give us a taste of what your writing is like 2 30-minute episodes. Gosh. So between the 3rd of April and the 15th of April, I wrote 2 30-minute scripts. And that period was so intense, and I loved it. Just writing most of it, other than the teaching that I was doing, it was writing and teaching, and I just loved having the time and the excuse to be at home and focus on that and put off all of my other freelance work and do no editing. And that was my window to focus on something that I really wanted to do that potentially could go somewhere or might not. And I've rediscovered an interest in writing, and I've been writing a lot more since the 15th. I've done some other short things, and I'm genuinely enjoying this isolation.
Well, that's really changed the it took me a lot. It took me about 35 minutes to tease that out of you. That when we started off by saying, what have you done to get through? There's this massive period of creativity that you've had the opportunity to engage with, but you kind of maybe you don't want to jinx it. It's a precious thing, isn't it? I sat down this morning and I wrote a blog. I wrote 2,000 words. I thought I just need to sit down and write, kind of not look at messages, not look at news sites, and not follow things up for a bit, but just get some, however badly expressed and kind of incoherent they might be when you read them back. I just needed to get something out. So that 15 days of solid writing.
Yeah. For you then, like you said, it was sometimes difficult to concentrate on reading, at least. How do you find getting into that mentality and the mindset of pushing words out?
The problem is not it's turn. You know, that thing with the Hulk when he says, how do you turn your anger on? He goes, the trick is I'm always angry. I've always got something to say. You know, and the trick is actually finding the time to make sure that you actually express it. And if it's not worth writing down, it's not worth saying. So you can be. Oh, it's classic, isn't it? You go for a piss and there's about 15 different thoughts come into your head. You go, this one and this, and we need to do this, and we need to do that. And then by the time you've gone, we're not doing any of that. You just kind of entertain the thoughts. But then what you do with writing is it's harder. You have to really have to make the point because you have to put it in language and words which are coherent. How do you find that with doing drama? Because I don't write drama, but putting words in characters' mouths, you've got to craft that into it. Is that how you do it?
Writing is easier than pissing. No, other way around. I need to feel each moment quite annoyingly. So I need to get in the mentality of what my characters are feeling in the moments and let the story write itself. And sometimes, maybe annoyingly, it changes from the exact things that I want it to do because the characters are just sort of living and doing what they want. So I've got to coax them and force them to do what I want them to do at times. But I like to write in a really emotionally intense way.
Do you listen to music while you write, or do you work in silence?
With this project specifically, I do listen to music. I've made a playlist of a collection of songs that I listened to when I was 16 that are emotionally coherent with the story that I'm writing. So yes, absolutely, because it's a young adult piece. Yeah. And it's not the same for every project, of course, but usually, like I say, I like to go into cafes and be in spaces around other people who maybe are working, maybe are doing other things, but are just there and not bothering me. And I like those environments where I can people watch and pick up on little intricacies that people are doing that might, inform what characters are feeling or doing in the story as well.
Yeah, it's great for writing notes in an environment like that. And you've got the comings and goings, isn't it? It kind of doesn't mean that you get so deeply involved or anxious about what you're doing because you can pull back from it a little bit. I read an interview with Philip Pullman on the music thing. He said he doesn't understand why people listen to music when they're writing. He says because the language and the story that you're trying to tell has its own rhythm and its own kind of melody, if you like, in terms of how you're trying to kind of portray something. Yeah. So he doesn't listen to any music.
And who's he? What's he written? Nothing of note.
Not yet, just a job and writer. He's never achieved very much. Yeah,
Yeah, I think I saw his piece in the Evening Standard. Yeah, I'm joking.
Yeah. And then so it's kind of whatever works for anybody as individuals, I suppose, isn't it? So
I guess so. But then with audio drama, like most of the things that I was listening to are in the script themselves, whether that's diegetic or non-diegetic sounds to the scenes. So I think it's, for me in that project, it was relevant to do so. But I do very much see where Philip Pullman is coming from. The writing lives and breathes its own pace, its own textures and feelings and tempos, and you need to be in that mindset.
Because I suppose sitting at your desk and writing that you're on the top of a mountain, there's often people who will talk about kind of write about what you know. It's like, well, I've never been to the top of a mountain. I can only suppose what that would be like and try to imagine what that would be like.
Yeah.
And I suppose there's a difference between literalism and writing symbolically in a way, which Philip Pullman largely does. So.
Unless he had lots of talking daemons in his life.
Yeah, or he just sat and looked at videos on YouTube and kind of nicked everything from that. Kind of. There's plenty of videos that you can go and watch where people just put webcams up, isn't there, on the top of some mountain somewhere? So. Yeah,
or there's this one really long, lovely one that's like 10 hours of a train journey, like around Russia, and they call it slow telly.
Yeah.
God, could you imagine like the amount of the internet gives us so much access to so much. Like, we've been talking about Netflix and Studio Ghibli and Disney on demand. Like, we've got a world of material at our fingertips. So, a world of inspirations that Philip Pullman will never have had to draw upon.
So apart from Star Trek and masturbation, I mean, pictures of boys, should we say, or men, even whatever your preference is. Yeah,
definitely men.
Have you been watching any of the things like the stuff that's on YouTube from the National Theatre and all the really great plays that they've put on there? There's the Shakespeare's Globe stuff. There's all these theatres have done these video productions. There's the National Theatre live stuff which has been going on. Have you been watching any of them?
You're going to show me up right now? No, I have not.
No, neither have I. The Guardian. I read The Guardian, and it's like I really got to stop reading The Guardian now. It's like it's the culture sections, and it's full of people, Tabithas and Tarquins, talking about our season ticket for the National Theatre is it's suspended at the moment. So the next best thing is to spend the evening with our bowl of quinola stuff and
quinola.
I don't know what to,
are you mixing quinoa and granola together?
Probably. No idea.
That sounds repulsive.
It's like I had for breakfast this morning. I made myself a toasted pita bread, and then I squashed some avocado into it. Half an avocado and peanut butter, and then some butter.
You've lost me. You've lost me.
Well, it's butter.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butters. Yeah, it was fabulous. It was really nice. I had 2 of them for breakfast.
Do you ever eat avocados by themselves? Because my partner thinks firstly, he hates avocados, but like when I'm eating an avocado, he's like,
yeah,
how do you just eat it?
Yeah, I've spooned it out. Yeah,
I love that.
It's nice. It's like creamy and it's got a lovely texture. They're good for your avocados. They really enhance you. A good mood enhancer.
Oh yeah, especially like when you put it in your mouth and you're like, this is the best taste sensation in the world.
After you've peeled it.
Don't try and cram it in, boys.
Yeah. So have your food habits changed?
Yes, they have. I've been fasting since September, intermittent fasting. So I would only eat after usually around 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. in an evening and not again after midnight. So that's become a slipped habit during fasting. Like the earliest I've eaten is 11 a.m. like sometime last week. And in the last month and a half of being in isolation, I have gained back 1 stone out of the 1.5 stone that I lost from September. So yes, my eating habits have changed.
Because I can't get into it. I because we've had this conversation when we've met up before. It's like, you look completely different than you did a few years ago because you just and it's through the intermittent fasting. And the rule of thumb I heard was great was that you do low carb eating for avoiding things like diabetes and stuff like that. You do intermittent fasting for losing weight.
Yeah, and low sugar diets as well.
Yeah, low sugar, low carb stuff, and then you do exercise for well-being. You can't do exercise for losing weight. It doesn't work.
I think it factors in, but
yeah, it factors in because it keeps you mobile and you're doing stuff. But I'm just sitting around like I'm sorry, like a couch potato, and kind of I put a pair of shorts on this morning that I normally do for cleaning the bathroom, like a dirty old pair of shorts. I couldn't get in them. I put so much weight on. It's like,
oh no!
So I've got to start, do a take up. I can't take up running at the moment because that'd kill me. But even just getting out for a walk at the moment it's like kind of, well, they're telling you to stay at home, so I'll stay at home, and I'm having these lovely meals brought to me 3 times a day. It's like, but I'm not snacking. No, but I'm not snacking in between meals. And
well, that's good, I guess.
And I'm not eating rice and pasta. The only bread I have is occasionally I have pita bread. That's all I have. So it's like it's kind of generally low carb.
Yeah.
So I think it's the kind of being sedentary really, which is doing it. But
well, yeah, I think you can knock exercise for, I guess it doesn't burn that many calories, sure, but I think it does other things to our body, like it raises our metabolism and helps burn more calories because it's got your body in a state of eating into its old fat cells, I guess.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to believe, but it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. Because what happens is when you raise your metabolism, your appetite raises to match it. So you live in a world of metabolic balance. So you actually, if you sit around doing nothing and you eat very little, you're likely to lose more calories than you would do if you went out for a run. I used to run 10 kilometers 3 or 4 times a week, and I never lost any weight.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's called
That's
the lipid.
so much running.
It's the well, yeah. My knees are knackered now. I've now got arthritis in one of my knees, so I can't run.
Bless you.
It's falling apart. Sitting in my chair, I'll be sitting in my chair doing podcasts for the rest of my life, being wheeled in and out.
And you know what? Being happy doing so.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Oh God, don't talk about commodes, Rob.
Why? What, have you got a funny story about commodes?
No, I've never witnessed a commode. No, but I don't agree with that. I when I was in my fasting period and life was quote unquote normal before isolation, I would go to the gym in the morning at like what time? Like 6:15 until 7:30, and I wouldn't eat until 6 or 7 p.m. So I don't know about this appetite thing.
No, but it's the fasting. It's the fasting thing that did it, not the exercise. You do both. I'm not saying that you don't do both. Both are really important. They go together. But what actually loses the weight is the fasting. What the exercise.
Yeah.
Actually, what you can end up doing is feeling more hungry because you're exercising a lot, and then you're dependent on willpower. Yeah, then you're dependent on willpower. But if because I'm really jealous because you kind of seem able and I'm sure you'll get back to it to be able to just survive on broth, vegetable broth.
Well, I am a vegan, so
yeah, so
I'm limiting myself a bit.
So what kind of broths do you come on? We can share your tips. What kind of broths do you rely on?
I'm a crap cooker. Like my partner as well. He's the cook between the two of us. I like to get a packet of rice and a can of soup and mix it together, or a can of beans and mix it with the rice, and that like spicy beans, not baked beans.
Sounds like something out of With Nail and I.
Mm-hmm. And people have pulled me up for that before. They say, "Eh," and I'm like, "No, it's a risotto. It's perfect."
Yeah, I'm not sure it is, but you're 27 years old, so you can go with that for now. I think there's a law somewhere that says when you get to 30, you've got to start eating grown-ups food.
Oh bullshit! No.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I not swear?
Well, I mean, as long as it's not gratuitous, you can say what you like.
Bullshit. I disagree with that. I think if you want to eat like a mess for your entire life, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I've lost the. I used to cook all the time, and I've lost. Over the last few years, I've lost. I'm not interested. I just put something in the oven and leave it, and then when there's a funny smell of something burning, take it out. It's like I don't have that focus and concentration. I don't care about food anymore. I've got a friend who's just his Instagram posts are great. The stuff he makes, he's got the real talent for cooking and making it look nice. And I've tried that, and I've kind of, I'd rather sit and flick through the newspapers online for half an hour than, maybe. But I don't go as far as opening a tin and shoving rice pudding in it or something like that. So,
well, just to let you know, Rob, half of that great Instagram is just good lighting and a good camera.
It's faked.
Well, it's not like they pump oil into it like the big.
No,
food
I think
companies.
I trust my friend. He's genuinely able to do this kind of stuff. But and I admire other people who can do it. So, but it's like admiration from afar. I'm not envious about it.
A great Instagram is Aldi.
The supermarket.
The supermarket. If you click on, what is it? Where's my phone? If you do Aldi, whatever they are on Instagram, it's like a big table. And if you start at the top and keep scrolling down, all of the 3 photos just continue this long table that's full of all kinds of food. And different bits of it are different colours. Gorgeous.
So, what are the other... Aldi or Aldi?
Aldi? What, like you? Aldi! Like you scroll down and like here's some row of flowers. And
Aldi
here's
UK.
yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
Am I looking at the right one? There's
I
like
don't know.
lots of things of food. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, flour. Oh yeah.
See how they're
Okay,
all
so
like,
they've done. So what they've
crossing
done is
over each other.
yeah. So yeah, you can't zoom in to see where the joins are, can you? So either they've done like block photos. Yeah, that's clever. Yeah, okay, that's all right. Doesn't look like any of the stuff that you'd ever buy from there. Somebody's done a really good job of, talented. When I've walked around Aldi or Netto or one of the other discount supermarkets, it's like everything.
Netto, do they still exist?
I think so. Do they not?
I've not seen a Netto in years. Oh my god!
Does QuickSave still exist?
I've not seen a quick save. What was the other one? Sainsbury's or something?
Oh, I don't know that one. Heron Foods, Heron Foods, Farm Foods.
Yeah, I'm sure Heron are still alive.
What's the shop in where you're from that sells tins of kind of stewed beef, that kind of stuff?
Are you talking about Huddersfield or Sunderland?
Well, whichever. What's the difference? Yeah, it's like,
hey now.
I'm living in
Don't
Leicester
go
and I'm
offended
from
downtown.
Liverpool, so I'm not being a snob about this, but is there not a joy in? I mean, where do you get your tinned soup from then?
The supermarket, Rob.
Yeah, but you're not like
I don't know.
You're not like a snob and go to Marks and Spencer's, are you?
Oh God, no! I don't have anywhere near enough money to be a snob.
Ah, right, okay.
No, I get.
So
I
it's
get
Aldi, yeah.
the supermarket brand soups from Tesco and or Sainsbury's, depending on which one my partner goes to that time. Because he doesn't like he is a snob. He doesn't like Asda.
Is he a vegan?
No.
So what? How does he cope living with a vegan? Because that.
How do I cope living with a person who cooks bacon at all hours? Jeez.
Oh, he's not a vegetarian either.
No, well, he was actually for like 5 years, and then a year and a half ago stopped. So don't know what happened there, but yeah, he initially, when I went vegan 4.5 years ago, he was like, "But I'm not going to be able to get to cook for you anymore. What about all the things I love to make? Lasagna and lasagna and lasagna." And I'm like, "Well, just can you not make it without cheese?" It's like, "No." So he won't change his ways. I won't change mine. We've got that equilibrium.
You're surviving. Yeah,
I'm not as lucky as you with your waiter for a boyfriend. God, he's brilliant.
Well, he's got a really good take on he's a cook rather than a waiter, but he
brings it to you as well, apparently.
Well, yeah, not quite, but I get a message on Instagram saying on WhatsApp, saying your dinner's ready. So,
oh, bless him.
So he's good. But he's got a really great line on vegetarians, vegans, and people with food allergies.
Oh God, go on.
Piss off and go and eat somewhere else.
All right, then no money for you.
Yeah, we don't worry about it. We don't sell it. We don't sell anything that's allergies. Well, if you can't eat it, go somewhere else.
God, could you imagine if everywhere had that attitude?
Yeah, life would be simpler, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for you maybe.
Yeah, but I can't eat wheat, so I really struggle with wheat.
Get out of my restaurant.
Yeah. So when I go into Greg's, there is nothing there for me. So,
coffee, fruit.
Okay, I can get coffee and fruit elsewhere, but having a pastry, it's just that there's no point in that for me.
What is the difference between a pasty and a pastry?
A pastry is like a Danish pastry, it's got sugar on it, and a pasty is something that's filled with mock meat. This vegan stuff that they've been brainwashed into thinking is good for them. Oh,
it's beautiful though. This mycoprotein shit. It's really, really tasty.
Yeah, we'll be all surviving by deliveries from the government, living on mushrooms for the next 6 years because the
sounds good to me.
Yeah. So what I think we'll
have you heard Newcastle are opening Greg's again? They were thinking about it at least.
Yeah, and so people get excited that McDonald's is going to open again or KFC is going to open again. I think get a life. Hey,
the first day of January when they started doing vegan KFCs, you can bet I ordered 2 of those burgers.
Gosh.
That was a good day.
I mean, I must.
4th of January, but whatever.
I'm not into. I don't like takeaways.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally I've had them in the past. I've had my fill of them in the past, but you know, I would rather come home and just cook something for myself from fresh.
That's
don't
a lovely,
don't buy anything
wholesome-
in packs. Don't buy microwave meals or anything like that.
That's my downfall. It's processed and processed food. Yeah. Thank you for this conversation. It's made me reevaluate my eating habits again.
Well, you know, we've considered what is we've been distracted about as we get through the day. Maybe as you wake up in the morning, you'll kind of reevaluate. You know, what is it? What's the routine? Coffee.
Yes, 2 espresso shots around 7:30, and then a third one between like 9 and 11.
And then you stare at the emptiness of the day ahead of you.
Oh, no, God, no. And then I talk to my students and I give feedback and I read essays and do marking and I do some writing and I do some editing and I
On a
talk
Saturday?
and I do interviews with people.
What do you do on a day off?
I don't do days off. Every day is... Hey, Rob, we're creatives, right? Every day is what we want to make of it and or like completely chocker because every day is the same. I don't know. I love working at weekends. I always have.
I wonder how people get through the day with doing nothing. It is an alien experience to me, but you know, maybe that's what these podcasts are here to consider. You know, what is it that gets us through the day? Right. It's been. If anybody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way? Because you've got a number of ways for people to contact you and message you and stuff.
I guess the best way is to search for Jay Sykes Media, all one word, on however you like to use social media. So I've got at Jay Sykes Media on Twitter and Instagram, and a website, jaysykesmedia.com.
Cool. And we look forward to hearing when you're commissioned for your drama production.
When and if.
Yeah, well, when at some point we'll return to this topic at some point in the future.
Oh, sounds lovely. Thank you so much for having me to just chat. It's been nice.
Yeah, we should do it more often.
Please, because I messaged you on Twitter. I was like, "Hey, we haven't chatted in ages," and you're like, "Why don't we record a podcast?" I'm like, "That's so Rob."
You know, I have my moments. So, this has been a Distraction Therapy podcast with me, Rob Watson. If you want to get in touch with me, I'm on this account is Rob Watson Media on Twitter or Instagram, and the website is robwatsonmedia.net. I do have a Patreon thing set up, which is just go on to Patreon, search for Rob Watson Media. But I'm really not expecting anybody to stump up any money for coffee and tea for this. I just merely did it as an exercise in self-flattery, I suppose. But Jay Sykes, it's been really nice to chat. Thank you very much, and we'll speak again soon.
This is Distraction Therapy, a podcast to explain how we get through the day. Keep calm and carry on.